Guys, we need to talk. Just days ago, literally days after Samsung officially dropped the Galaxy Z TriFold on December 2nd, something strange happened in the GSMA certification database. Most people missed it. It looked like just another boring string of numbers. But if you know where to look, this isn't just a certification. It is a declaration of war. We have found concrete evidence of Xiaomi's answer to the TriFold revolution, a device that is rumored to be bigger, brighter, and potentially stranger than anything Samsung or Huawei have put on the table. We are talking about an 11.5-inch screen that fits in your pocket, a battery technology that defies physics, and a secret project codenamed ZTriFold that might delete physical buttons forever. Today, we are decoding the leaks, analyzing the specs, and asking the big question. Is Xiaomi about to humiliate the competition, or did they just make a fatal mistake? Let's dive into the mixed TriFold. First, let's look at the evidence. The device was spotted with model number 2608BPX34C. Now, Xiaomi nomenclature is like a secret code, but we've cracked it. Let's break it down. The first two digits are 26. In Xiaomi's standard nomenclature, the first two digits often denote the target release year. This tells us we are looking at a commercial launch in 2026. Next, the 08. While this can sometimes mean August, in this context, combined with industry rumors, this aligns perfectly with the Q3 2026 launch window. Why so late? Because sources say Xiaomi is pushing this to the second half of the year to avoid cannibalizing their Mix Fold 4 and Flip 3 launch earlier in the year. But here's the bad news for my viewers in the US and Australia. Look at the suffix, that C. That C designation explicitly identifies the certified unit as a China-specific variant. Just like the early Mix Fold devices, this certification suggests the initial launch will be exclusive to the domestic market. Why? Because making these TriFold screens is incredibly hard and yield rates are low. But don't click away yet, because what they are building for China usually sets the blueprint for the global flagship coming 6 months later. Now let's talk about why you should care about a phone you can't buy yet. It's the sheer scale of this thing. While Samsung and Huawei are fighting over 10-inch screens, Xiaomi is reportedly going massive. We are talking about an 11.5-inch LTPO LMS display. To put that in perspective, that is not a phone. It's not even an iPad mini. That is entering productivity laptop territory. The design uses a Z fold mechanism. One hinge folds in, one folds out. This means when it's closed, the outer part of the screen becomes your cover display. No extra screen needed. And the display specs? They're aiming for 4,000 nits peak brightness and a resolution near 4K. They want this to replace your tablet entirely. Basically, Xiaomi is trying to merge the Mix Fold line and their Pad tablet line into one super device. But here is where it gets crazy. There is a distinct stream of intelligence mentioning a project called ZTriFold. Rumors describe this as Xiaomi's first TriFold, but with a twist. It might be buttonless. Imagine a chassis with no power button, no volume rockers, just pressure-sensitive edges and gesture controls using something called M-Dyna 2.0 technology. Now, is model 2608 BPX34C actually ZTriFold? Conflicting reports say ZTriFold might be a concept device for 2025, while the mass-market TriFold we saw certified is a more traditional version for 2026. Why? Because removing buttons on a foldable is highly risky. You need something to grip when you unfold it. But if Xiaomi pulls this off, it simplifies waterproofing on a device with this many hinges. Let's talk specs, because this is where Xiaomi usually humiliates the competition on paper. The biggest problem with TriFolds is battery life. You have 3 thin screens, so where do you put the battery? Samsung ZTriFold has a 5600 mAh battery. Respectable. But Xiaomi, they are rumored to be packing a massive 6500 mAh battery. How? They're using high-voltage silicon-carbon anodes. This tech gives 10 to 20% higher density than standard batteries. And for the processor, since this is a late 2026 device, we're looking at the Snapdragon 8 Elite or potentially even the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5 if delays happen. They need that power to drive 3 apps simultaneously without turning the phone into a hand warmer. So here's the verdict. The TriFold war is officially on. Samsung is playing it safe with software and durability. Huawei is playing the status game, but Xiaomi is playing the spec maxing game. Largest screen, biggest battery, fastest charging at 80 to 100 watts. The estimated price in China is around $2,000 to $2,300, which, believe it or not, is actually cheaper than the competition. But the sad reality for us is that C in the model number means we might be watching from the sidelines until 2027. What do you think? Would you carry an 11.5-inch TriFold in your pocket, or is this just too much screen? And would you buy a phone with no buttons? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to stay updated on when this beast finally goes global. I'll catch you in the next one.